of
forming a party.
Yeah.
In terms of forming a party, his mind was made up. There was no one who was going to convince him. But one thing that you must all observe, and it's a very interesting thing, and I'm happy because I was part of it, and I'm no longer part of it, and I can watch it from outside, and I laugh at those who are supporting these nonsensical things. Go and look at the videos if you are lazy to read. Go and look at the videos of the people who were with Zuma from the beginning, from when he was accused of rape, from when we made him president. I even dropped a tear at the Union building, and then subsequently we didn't support him. We were saying Malema must be president and all of that. Look at all those people who supported Zuma under those circumstances. Not a single one of them is still with Zuma. So once he uses you, he throws you very far. But there is one person who's always by Zuma, and Zuma has never dropped this person. It's the daughter, Duduzile Zuma.
Yeah, well, suppose naturally.
It's not natural. How would it be natural between me and Ratana? That Ratana comes and run affairs of the EFF and we say it's natural. You're going to be the first one to talk about you. This is a family trust, Ratana trust, and all of that. Everybody else has collapsed. Zwelim Kize.
Yeah. So what turns on that? What's that about?
So the point is, everybody else who's running circles around him, they will all become hobos. Watch the space. Because if it's not for his family, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but you knew that when you were saying to him, endorse us. Because then it means that he was going to endorse you and then throw you away.
No. Well, you can't. How do you endorse me and throw me away? I didn't say swallow me. You can throw away what you have swallowed.
He would have used you.
No, I was using him. Endorse me. So it was not the other way around because he's used to being endorsed.
Yeah.
So I said, but this time around,
you endorse us.
Endorse someone else and let it not be about you.
Yeah.
And then
now that you have identified, now that you have identified the MK problem, right, is now your solution to take out the big guns and say this is our enemy. Can you explain that to me from a Marxist perspective?
When you come with a neoliberal agenda to collapse the left organization, you constitute the enemy forces. Why do you want to close the EFF? Why do you go about it the way you are doing it, eating it from within and wanting to finish it? Whose agenda are you pursuing in the finishing of the EFF? It can only be the agenda of white monopoly capital. Let's leave this nonsense that you are uniting black people. You found a party that had structures and machinery everywhere else. If that agenda was exactly that, you would have said, guys, let's go and support the EFF. You cannot undermine Zuma. He's a former president. To be endorsed by a former president doesn't matter whether you like him or not. It's a very bold political statement in your favor. And that's what we wanted. We wanted him to endorse us because we knew he had influence. But we're not going to join the things that are actually led by him because he's unreliable.
But Julius, you formed the Progressive Caucus. Why? Because you knew Zuma. You know Zuma more than many people. The thing you are describing now, you didn't learn now when there's tensions. You've known it. You've known his pattern of doing things. But your first action in Parliament was to have a Progressive Caucus with all of the parties there.
So, in Parliament, we said we're not going to be part of the GNU, which include DA and Freedom Front. Because these are the people who are advancing the agenda of imperialism, of whiteness. This is an apartheid organizations, and therefore we cannot go sit on the same dinner table with the killers of Chrisan. And we refuse. That is the only point of difference between us and the ANC. They said, come in. Maybe if you come in, the DA is going to walk away. But we knew it was not going to walk away. It was not going to walk away. So And then we're going to be forced now to be smiling with Helen Zile's Botox everywhere we go. And that becomes now our problem. So we refused that. Then we said all parties, we didn't say Zuma. We said all parties that are rejecting the GNU of Helen and Ramaphosa come together. And let's agree on issues that are going to be
but you didn't
the minimum
exclude
program.
MK.
Yes.
Despite the neoliberal agenda that you are talking about.
We didn't. We called everyone. The calling was not based on the ideology.
Yeah.
It was the requirement was the rejection of the GNU. When you reject GNU, let's constitute a powerful opposition and expose the shenanigans of this DA-led government.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you know that we voted with DA here in Johannesburg and everywhere else to remove the corrupt ANC? So it's not much of an alliance between EFF and the DA. We didn't have any alliance. But as a revolutionary who's got a strategy, you must also have the tactics. So you use the tactics to arrive at your strategic objective.
And sitting in the GNU with DA would never be considered a tactic?
No, it was not a tactic. So it was a betrayal. You must learn to differentiate betrayal and tactics.
The ANC insists that it was a tactical move, otherwise they would be out of power.
No, they sold out. They were not going to be out of power. The ANC can constitute minority government without any political party voting with them. They can win president of the Republic of South Africa in parliament. It was a sell-out position, and they know it. And they will live to regret that decision.
The DA represents broadly, we may represent white constituents, right? In your ideal future for this country, right, where do white people feature?
The white
in your view, in a context of how this GNU thing is being reasoned, because they're saying, well, let's put everybody together, black and white together, even if we may not agree ideologically, and identify minimum programs that, you know, won't upset either.
The agenda has never been to bring black and white together. Okay. The agenda is to bring parties that will defend the interest of white capital together. And once you defend the interest of white capital, you are defending the interest of white people to the exclusion of black people.
Let's zone in.
So you are saying, where is the place of white people in South Africa? In my view, their place is South Africa. They've got no special status of citizenship.
So they are representative of 20%. Is it something that can be ignored? Let's say the EFF.
Racist.
The EFF was actually the majority party.
It's actually people who are voting for DA, including ordinary white people, they are racist. How do you vote a party, 80% of you in a what? 85% of you in a what? And you call that democracy? That's not democracy, that's racism. People can win 65, 60, 70, but to go beyond 80 in a what? And then you say you are a party that represents everyone. It's a lie. And no one is calling the DA lie out, and the lie of white people, that you are voting alone on your own. Let's go to the township now. There's no ANC that wins with 80%. We all get a portion, because the society has come to appreciate that there are different political parties. We can belong to different political parties. But the white people have got no such a thinking.
I want you to tell me...
They want anything that is white. If it's not white, it's not what they want.
I understand. I want you to address me quickly on nation building, right? My viewers here, you know, as I was coming here, we were saying we want to understand where the EFF stands, etc., to understand the policies and so on, you know, because they are fashioning themselves as a government in waiting. In that government, if it stops waiting and becomes government, right, would white people have a place, and what will that place be? Until 11 years ago, you were part of a movement that gave us our first GNU. That set with the same de Klerks and Rolf Meyers and what who killed our people, right? And we're made to understand there's a tactic. We have to cross the Rubicon. I don't know what word we used of compromise. I mean, we compromised the biggest thing for which the ANC was formed, which was the land. Right? And I think there was a general understanding that if we didn't do that, we'll still be in the trenches. Right? Even people as revolutionary as Chris Hani were not consulted about stopping the armed struggle and so on. In other words, you had to find a way in which you bring the extremes into the center to build a nation. Address me on that. How would the EFF, if you were to, let's say you were the one who got 40%, and you have the responsibility to form government, you don't have 50, right? How would you go about doing that from a social cohesion point of view?
Look, Mandela didn't need de Klerk for him not to be a racist or to be seen to be racist. He didn't need de Klerk to service even white people. Because you are saying your non-racial policy is not enough for as long as there is no leader who is white from white political parties. We cannot become non-racial when we are joined by a racist called Helen Zille. We are non-racial in our daily lives. The EFF governs. I hear you saying EFF is government in waiting. EFF is government in Ekurhuleni. EFF is government in Tshwane. It's government in Johannesburg. It's government in eThekwini. It's government in Nelson Mandela Metro. Where we govern, we don't look at the color of your skin. We look at service delivery. We don't look at your ideological perspective on Marxism or Lenin or whatever. That applies at a particular level. Here, we are at the cold phase of servicing our people. You must ask those white people of Tshwane that their beans are being collected. Their streets are being collected. Very soon you will not know Marawastad, because the EFF is cleaning that city and restoring the dignity of our people. We are not going to exist to impress white people. We are going to serve them the same way we serve black communities. We have nothing against white people. All we are saying is, let the services go to everyone and not to the selected few. And the agenda of the DA is to redirect everything to support their whiteness agenda, which perpetuates the apartheid.
But you've already said that the MK party came with a neoliberal agenda, right? Which means that the issue about supporting of white capital, etc., can also come from the black, from black parties who are funded. You've also said the small parties that were funded, their millions, etc., were proxies, right, of the white capital. Put that aside a little bit and just address me on nation building, right? How would EFF make all communities, right, rally around building a new society, or even